is it possible to actually pretend that your native language doesn't exist? But first, who am I to tell you this? Well, I'm Ivan, soy un nativo del español with 20 months in Japanese, 46 months in English, and as an athlete, I help fucked up language learners who can't study for more than 5 hours on a daily basis. Yes, it's possible to actually do this, but it doesn't look how you think it looks. So for most of the part, you don't really hack your brain into thinking in another language that doesn't really exist. In reality, your brain uses the language that is most comfortable for it. So in this video, I'll explain to you how to do this properly. By the way, check the first link in the description if you want to get faster progress by following my Not Pussy program. Now, I would like to answer one thing to this, which is, should you try to do this at the start of your language learning? And I will say, yes, but there's one caveat, which is don't try to do stupid things like putting the language in your phone in Japanese or something like that, because it will just not work. Things like putting the language in your phone in Japanese work only if you have some understanding of the language. Now, what you can do instead is actually pretty easy. So just identify the actions that you already do in your native language. That is probably, I don't know, playing video games, that is watching TikTok, that is studying for your exams in your target language, like watching anime, which I'm 100% sure you already did, and all of these actions literally transfer them into your target language. That's kind of actually you trick your brain into thinking in another language. Now, do you really think in another language? So this is a question that a lot of people have, and in reality, I would like to say that you don't think in another language. Basically, your brain just uses the language that is most comfortable for it. Saying that you think in another language is you see really vague explanation of what really happened. Now, how do you get more comfortable in the language? You need to have 100% of comprehension in the words you say, so you actually start thinking in another language. So this is actually very simple. When you talk in another language, you don't really think about translating from your native language into the language that you're learning and then actually saying the word. No, you just literally think about the word and then you say it. That's how I'm able to talk in English right now, because as you know, I'm not a native of the English language. The two more easy forms of outputting at first, so you start thinking in another language by not talking to people, because talking to people at first is really inefficient, are journaling and making essays. Literally. So if I had to explain these two very simply, I will say that journaling helps you to learn all of the vocabulary that you will use in your daily life. And of course, there is no more useful vocabulary for you than the one you actually. Also, you can kind of take your time. You don't have to think quickly because you're talking to someone. No, in reality, you can't even do that if you haven't outputted yet in the language. Now, making essays. Making essays is really cool because you're basically learning vocabulary from a specific area that you care about, which is something that doesn't really happen if you are just journaling. Now, once you get to a good level, you do the 1 minute rule. And this is really cool because basically you're just going to think of a topic, and then for 1 minute entirely, you're just going to talk about that topic. And this will get you to basically know all of the pieces of vocabulary that you miss on that specific topic. And this is something really cool because you can do it while you commute to work, you can do it while you walk to a gym, you can do it while you walk to your house, or you even simple take a walk while doing this, and you fake that you're sending voice notes to someone in another language, which I mean, you're not faking it because you're sending voice notes to yourself. And whenever you review those voice notes, you will remember all of the vocabulary that you missed during that speech. Now, what can you do to improve at these output actions? If I'm being totally honest, you just keep doing them and eventually you will just improve. But definitely there are some actions outside of your language learning which you can do to improve at this. And the first one is, of course, meditation. Maybe you have this bad meaning about meditation and you think that it is something in which you have zero thoughts or something of the like, which you really can't achieve unless you're a monk in the mountains training for 20 years straight on how to do meditation. Unless you're that person, you are not going to be able to have zero thoughts whenever you're doing meditation. But if you do meditation, definitely it will help you on your attention span. So how do you do meditation properly? So meditation is just the act of focusing on something, then you lose your focus, and then you focus back again on the thing that you were focusing on. So that is very simple. So let's say that I will focus on my breath, and usually what I do is that I focus on the movement that I have on my belly, right? And I will focus on that movement, which is the exhalation and the inhalation process. Literally simple as that. And there will be a moment in which I basically lose my focus because I think about the girl that I want to fuck. I think about the girl that I fucked. And then When you notice that, oh, this is a thought that is distracting myself, you go and focus back on the movement of your belly, right? That is what I do. Usually people do it with their breaths. Sometimes people do it even with their hand or focusing on a specific object. I don't know, some headphones or whatever. Now, this is something that you need to have really clear in mind. You will not be able probably to do this for more than 2 minutes because you have a fish attention span. Because for the last 4 to 5 years, we've been really used to watching TikTok. And so we literally have right now an attention span of 7 to 10 seconds. That is crazy, right? Because 20 years ago, we had an attention span of 20 minutes. This has decreased like crazy. And so don't really worry if you're not even able to do like 2 minutes or 1 minute. Just do it for now. Do even 30 seconds if you can of meditation. And then try to progressively overload this to 5 minutes. Try to progressively overload this to 10 minutes. And then when you get to 10 minutes or 50 minutes, 20 minutes, you can literally leave it in there and literally just do 10 minutes of meditation for the rest of your life, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. The more you do, the better. And you can cap this at 1 hour if you want. By the way, I usually do like 50 minutes of meditation right now, 15 to 20 minutes daily. That's it. Now, the second thing that you can do to improve your attention span is not watching short form content. There's people that learn languages with YouTube shorts, with Instagram Reels, with what is the other one? TikTok. Brother, do you think that at least your attention span will not worsen? Of course not. It will worsen a lot. And I'm saying a lot. That's why you have an attention span of 7 seconds and why you can't focus for more than 1 hour every day. I'm even giving you too much credit. You can't even focus for like 10 to 20 minutes. There's even studies that relate short form content to going on depression. And you know for a fact that this is true because people are talking about this like crazy. And also, like, if you kind of think logically, I've never seen someone watch TikTok 4 hours daily be happy. This is literally just the truth. You can't lie. You can't lie in here. I've never seen someone watch TikTok for 5 hours daily, 6 hours daily, which by the way, it was me, be happy.